Hello and welcome back to yet another character builds video. This time we're going to be going over a whole load of your comments suggesting your own builds, and it's to mine to make them even better. And without further ado, let's get on with this. This video is brought to you by our Patreon. Head over there now to pick up a free homebrew pack available to all Dirty 20s D&D subscribers. First things first, screw 1 D&D. It's not official yet, so it doesn't matter. The first build today is the Blessed Weapon Master, and it comes from AlucardTheReturn. He proposes that a paladin with Bless could greatly amplify our Fighterman build from the first 10 characters video, and I agree. So with this build, you need to start at level 2, making sure that Strength is your priority, followed by Constitution, and then Charisma. Since this paladin's whole goal is to Bless, Smite, and Great Weapon Master, we don't need to worry as much about preparing a bunch of spells, so Charisma is not as high of a priority. We will keep Human as our race to make sure we maintain that feat. Background doesn't really matter, so we can go with Acolyte or something like that. And then take 2 levels in Paladin to get your spellcasting and your fighting style, which will be Great Weapon Fighting. And there we go. Now you can Bless to get a +1 to 4 bonus to your attack, and not take such a hard penalty from Great Weapon Master. For higher levels, you can really do anything. Take Vengeance for your subclass to get the advantage-giving Vow of Enmity Channel Divinity. And at level 4, you can take Savage Attacker feat to reroll your damage once a turn. Or you can take Lucky to make sure that you really hit on that attack when you need to. And now a reply to their full comment, which you can see on screen here. Along with another one, or maybe more, I'm not sure. They all say something along the lines of, Great Weapon Master on such a low level character means you'll always miss. Or, why didn't you include this famous build in this video? First, what CR monsters are you fighting at levels 1 and 2? Low. Like 2 or less. And what is their armor class going to be? Like 14 or less. What is your attack bonus going to be? Probably somewhere between +4 and +6. So in that case, if you drop your attack bonus and roll straight for an extra +10 bonus to your damage to attack a monster with 15 or less hit points, you'll have a 35%-ish chance to hit and kill them immediately. Why would you not do that? And for your second point of why wasn't this build included, or that one, it's because these are my builds, with the exception of the Coffeelock, which we'll get to, the Totem Barbarian Moon Druid situation, which that's a given, and the God Wizard. I made each and every single one of those, I think. Might have forgotten them. Oh, I don't know. And that was always my goal, to introduce people to my builds, the ones that I've found successful and fun to play in this game. They might not be the most optimal, but they're strong and stronger than most, even if only once or twice a day. And also, yes, I was wrong about my perfect estimated roll and stats number, but it was off by 1. And that's not as bad as to have that be the first point of this many. Because, geez, that's a lot. I just wanted to spread my ideas, and I guess it worked, because we have another build here from you guys. Number 2 today is Vengeance, the Knight. Batman? No, it's a submission from Vader, and they say that they like Vengeance Paladin and Assassin Rogue, which I agree with. So this build is to start at level 6, with Dexterity being our highest stat, followed just like the last one, with Con coming next, and then Charisma. And then the race will be, well, if you're going for as much stab damage as this entails, let's go with Zerial Tiefling to get a free casting of some smites. For background, let's do Criminal, because this is not the most upstanding of paladins, and then we can start our levels. Let's start with 1 in Paladin for them extra proficiencies, and then level that up to level 3, and then take 3 in Rogue as well. At Paladin level 2, grab the Defense Fighting style, since 2-weapon fighting is not on your list. And at level 3, go with the Oath of Vengeance as your subclass. For Rogue, there are no choices, so just go to Assassin when you hit 3, and then there you go. To properly use this build, I'd recommend using 2 short swords and readying a smite before battle, if at all possible. For higher levels, take Paladin to 8, raising your Dexterity to 20, and Charisma should be at least 16 by the end. Take the Savage Attacker and Sentinel feats if at all possible as well. And then for Rogue, as you level up to 12, take the feats and raise your ability scores more, and if you're out of things I've suggested, consider what your game calls for. Is Mage Slayer appropriate? Is it time to take Tavern Brawler because your DM keeps taking your weapons? Up to you. Before build 3, I'm going to address the mistakes I made with the Coffeelock in the first video. I said it could be made with any race, which was kind of misleading. It technically can work with any race, but it works best with a race that does not need to sleep, like Elves or Warforged. But Warforged is the best option, and I'll explain that in a minute. It's because they can't be exhausted. All of this is because Coffeelocks works best because every short rest you regain your packed magic slots. You use them to convert to sorcery points to temporary spell slots using the Sorcerer's Font of Magic ability. You can also long rest to regain your sorcery points and your sorcerer spell slots. And so to do all of this while staying awake forever with infinite spell slots of 5th level and lower, you need to not have to sleep. So you either have to be an elf or another trancing race or Warforged. Or reach level 3 in Warlock and just take Pact of the Tome and Aspect of the Moon. But no, whatever. On to build number 3. Build 3 is a submission from KongoAurius, and I like to call it the Dragonchild Samurai. Their submission is this, and I like it a lot. It's a minimum level 6 build, which is made around having a good dex, and if you follow their last option, a bit of wisdom too. Just enough to get that multi-class. You have to start with Kobold as your race, Soldier as your background, and take all 6 levels in Fighter. Take the Archery Fighting style, and at level 3, the Samurai subclass, 4 Sharpshooter feat, and at 6, Lucky. Your race gives you something very special and very key to this build, which is why we went Kobold. Pack Tactics. So as long as one of your allies is within 5 feet of an enemy, you will have advantage to hit them. And so you should always use Sharpshooter. Like always. And Lucky means you're even more likely to hit. Because say you roll, even with advantage, and you only get like a 10. And you know you're Sharpshooter, and your bonus is a 6. So you have a +1. You don't think 11's going to hit. Reroll. Who cares? And if you take that last 1 level up at the Cleric, you give your bow a further +1 to hit. For higher levels, you can take that maybe little level 1 dip into Cleric to as many as 6 for a 2nd Channel Divinity, or you could stop at 5 to get the 3rd level spells, or even just stay at 1. Fighter has good stopping points at 11, 12, and 15, but you can keep going, and it's entirely up to you. Build 4 is the first of 3 submissions from WillieTheNerfHerder, and this one I call the Battle Magic Pirate. This build has an optimal level 9 minimum, and it's built around Dex and Constitution. Start by going with any race, and maybe focus on one with good movement, like Tabaxi or something else similar. For your background, go with Sailor. Start with 1 level in Fighter to get those proficiencies, and then fill out for a total of 5 in Fighter and 4 in Rogue. At Fighter level 1, go with the Dueling Fighting style, opting for a Rapier and Shield as early as you can. And at level 3, take the Echo Knight subclass, and at level 4, either raise your Dex or Con, or take the Sentinel feat. And then at Rogue level 3, go with Swashbuckler as your subclass, and at level 4, again, either raise your stats, or take another feat. I really like this build because you can duplicate yourself, and while I know you cannot flank or gain sneak attack with it, it's still a fun concept to introduce some versatility to your Rogue or Fighter, and control the field more. For higher levels, you could take Rogue to 11 for reliable talent, or stop at 8. And Fighter, much like I said earlier, can logically stop at 11, 12, or 15 without wasting any levels. So you can choose from here. Now, why am I not following what Willie said? And that's because this build can be effective at multiple breakdowns. The breakdown they gave is not bad, but it's also not the only way it can be done. Build number 5 is the 2nd submission from Willie, and you'll see more there. I have given it the name Whispers of Vengeance. I think the optimal level to start this build is 9, and here's how it goes. Charisma should be your highest stat, followed either by Strength or Dexterity. Take Yuan-Ti Pureblood or Satyr as your race, as they both offer good options here, as this is a bit of a frontline magic user, and so that little bit of resistance goes a long way. And then go with Strixhaven Student for your background, taking spells from either Cleric or Wizard. You should then start with a level in Paladin and fill out so you have a total of 5 in Paladin and 4 in Bard. At Paladin level 2, take Defense, and much like earlier, 2 Weapon would be preferred, but you can't take it. Alternatively, Blessed Warrior might make some sense here, but to boost that AC is probably better than a few cantrips. At level 3, go with Vengeance as your subclass, and at level 4, take the Dual Wielder feat. At Bard level 3, go with Whispers as your subclass, and at level 4, either raise an ability score or something like that. Charisma, probably. For higher levels, stay wary of spellcasting, as Paladin, when multiclassing, only boosts your character spellcasting level when it hits an even milestone. So if you, say, stop at Paladin level 5 and get Bard to 15, you will only get 2 levels of spellcasting from Paladin, not 3, like if you were only Paladin. So I would recommend taking Paladin to 10 and Bard to 10 to get the most from both. But also, the higher you go in Bard, the better spells you get. So whatever, who's to say? You choose. Build number 6 is the final build from Willie, and it's pretty interesting, but not without its problems. With that, I think this build has an optimal spot at level 10. You'll want Dex as your highest stat, followed by Con. This is to maximize your sneak attack potential and your hit points. But this also has the consequence of meaning your armor class is going to be nuts if you use armored defense. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. If you do this, you cannot deal bonus rage damage. You can still melee reckless to get advantage and guarantee sneak attack and blah 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 blah, but you are missing a tiny bit of damage there. And there, to my knowledge, is no way to rectify this. Sneak attack is the better choice, so prioritize that. Go with Goliath as your race and Outlander for your background, and then start with 1 level in Rogue and spec out to be 5 in Barbarian and 5 in Rogue. Why that? More proficiencies. At Barbarian level 3, go with Zealot for your subclass, and at level 4, take either Dual Wielder or an ability score improvement. At Rogue level 3, go with Swashbuckler for your subclass, and at 4, take either Dual Wielder, Tough, or another ability score improvement. For higher levels, take Barbarian to 12 for the subclass features, and Rages, and ability score increases, and whatever, and that means take Rogue to 8. Build number 7 is a submission from Martin Gasparini, and it is the first triple class of the day. I've taken to calling it the Vengeful Pactkeeper, and I'm deigning it to be optimal for level 15 and up games. For this build, Charisma is king. You need as high of a Charisma as you can get. After that, Strength and Con should be good too, and the others are a bit mixed in terms of their utility. Make sure to take a race with a +2 bonus, so no human, to maximize your starting Charisma, because with this breakdown, you're not getting as many ability score improvements as you normally would. For a race today, I think I'm going to suggest Glazia Tiefling for that invisibility, and then Strixhaven Student for the background to get even more guaranteed spells per day since we're splitting ourselves so far. And then let's start with 1 level in Paladin and fill up for a total of 5 in Paladin, Sorcerer, and Warlock. At Paladin level 2, take the Blessed Warrior or Defense Fighting styles, and at level 3, go with Vengeance for your subclass. At level 4, take either an ability score improvement, or raise that Charisma. At Sorcerer level 1, go with either Divine Soul, Storm, or Aberrant Mind for your subclass. Each has their own advantages. Divine can prep Cleric spells, so your Paladin spells can be saved for more damage-dealing ones. Storm Sorcerers can fly, so that's just great. And Aberrant Minds get even more spells than normal. Like a lot more. At Sorcerer level 3, take the Quickened and Twin metamagics. That way it could be even more useful in certain situations. I can imagine quickening a spell or cantrip at the same time that you make 2 attacks with your melee weapon. That's great, which we'll also get more of that with Warlock. That could be really good. And also make sure to take Darkness as one of your Sorcerer spells. And then at level 4, take either the Metamagic Adapt feat or another ability score improvement. At Warlock level 1, go with Hexblade for your subclass. At 2, take Devil's Sight, and then whatever other invocation you want to, because at level 3, you're switching it. Speaking of which, at level 3, take Pact of the Blade and switch your second invocation to improved Pact Weapon. At level 4, you can take Fey Touch or another ability score. And then at level 5, take the Eldritch Smite invocation. And now we're ready. We start by casting Darkness, which we can see through, and then running in, using our Charisma to wield a longsword and both Divine and Eldritch Smiting an enemy, with advantage, to completely annihilate them. At higher levels, I can imagine taking Paladin up to 10, or maybe just 8, and then Sorcerer up whatever's left, leaving Warlock behind. But this is already a pretty good build right here. And then for our last build number 8, a submission from Kyle Barchus, Hercules Requiem. It's going to be level 20, and we're going to see how far we can push this. Make sure that strength is the highest score, followed by Con and then Charisma, since you need at least 13 for this to be possible. And then start by going with Goliath for your race. You could also go with Furbolg. They both get the double carry capacity thing, but we're going Goliath for this one. And then go with, I don't know, Soldier for your background, or maybe Gladiator Entertainer. It doesn't really matter. We start by taking our first level in either Fighter or Paladin, but probably Fighter. It gets better saving throws. And then filling out to be 12 in Fighter, 5 in Bard, and 3 in Paladin. At Fighter level 1, go with a Greatsword for your weapon, and Great Weapon Fighting for your style. At level 3, go with Rune Knight for your subclass, taking whatever runes you want. And at level 4, take the Slasher or Sentinel feat and an ability score improvement. Strength probably. But also Con and Charisma might need some love too, it's whatever. At levels 6, 8, and 12, take either ability score improvements or melee focus feats such as Sentinel, Fighting Initiate, Martial Adept, or Savage Attacker on you. At Bard level 3, go with Swords as your subclass, and make sure that you grab Expertise in Athletics. At level 4, continue what we said earlier concerning feats and ability scores. At Paladin level 2, grab Defense for your fighting style, and at level 3, go with Glory for your subclass. All of this means that, since, by the rules as written, you can push, drag, or lift a weight in pounds equal to twice your carrying capacity, or 30 times your strength score. So, our Goliath with a 20 strength can by default lift 600 pounds. Double to 1200 for their powerful build ability, double to 2400 when you use their Giant's Might from Fighter, double to 4800 when they use their Channel Divinity, and then one last time double to 9600 if we cast Enlarge Reduce from our Bard spells. But there's where we run into an issue. Our number needs to double one more time to reach their reported 19,200 pounds. Looking over absolutely everything here, there is not a single point where we can do that. We have used our racial, fighter, paladin, and bard abilities. Our concentration is active, and to my knowledge, that's it. There's nothing else here. So who knows, maybe I'm missing something, but regardless, I can only get this number to 9,600, which is still pretty damn impressive. That means that technically, this number is possible at character level 9, 3 each in Fighter, Paladin, and Bard. If you start with a strength of 20 and are a Goliath, then at level 9 you can lift 9,600 pounds for at least a minute a day. That's pretty cool. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Be sure to go and subscribe here if you liked the video, give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram, join the Patreon, and keep an eye out on our Twitch as to not miss when we go live next, like in 2 days when we play our Halloween special, A Night in Autumn Ridge Manor. Have a good weekend, everyone, and happy Halloween. I'll see you all next time where we go over optimizing the Barbarian. Bye.